Welcome, everyone, to Southern Virginia University Knights basketball from the Knights Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by Seth Hansen, ready to bring you Knights men's basketball tonight as Southern Virginia University gets ready to host Mary Washington in another important home Capital Conference game for the Southern Virginia University Knights, who come into this game with a record of 1-2 in the conference, 4-3 on the season. Seth will be facing a Mary Washington team that is 1-1 in the conference and 5-2 overall.
Yeah, Jim, you mentioned the Knights coming in with that conference record, had a ginormous win this past weekend over Wesley, won by 30 points, and the name of that game was certainly the three ball. Was falling better than we'd really seen in recent games. They're going to look to continue that tonight, as well as Mary Washington coming off a tough, close loss to York, 64-61. So they're looking to get back on track, and they feel pretty confident coming into this game. They've had recent success on the Knights. So I think we've got a couple of heavyweights coming in tonight looking to make a statement in the conference, and it should be really fun to watch.
Even though the Knights will have 3 non-conference games coming up over the next few weeks, including Carolina Christian this coming Saturday, Randolph on the 16th, and McDaniel on the 30th. They won't actually play another Capital Conference game until January the 3rd. So again, about a 3-week layoff when it comes to Capital Conference games. So how important is this game for the Knights? I know the other night, as we talked about in that Wesley game, we almost said it was kind of a must-win situation for the Knights to win at home and break into the winning column in the Capital Conference. And I don't know if it's a must-win tonight, but it's certainly an important victory because, again, they won't be playing another Capital Conference game for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, a must-win might be a little bit of a stretch, but it's the difference between being 2-2 in conference play and 1-3. Being 500 in conference play goes a long way before going into the break. Again, 1-3 in Capital Conference is a really deep hole to dig yourself out of if you want to make the conference tournament. So I know the Knights have been preaching. Coach Caputo has preached to his team that this one is so important. You got to treat it almost like a playoff game already.
And you look at the standings right now in the Capital Conference. York, Frostburg, Marymount, all 2-0. Mary Washington, CNU, Salisbury 1-1. Knights are 1-2. You can see where obviously it's going to be a dogfight to land in the top 6 of the conference.
Yeah, certainly the competition is so close, and it's pretty split down the middle right now. But you see the competition game in and game out, how tough it is, and nothing's given to you easy, and you got to earn everything here. So look for them to try and get ahead early tonight.
And the opening tip sails out of bounds. So the Knights will have the basketball. In the women's contest, Southern Virginia played a heck of a ball game, losing to Mary Washington 64-51. The Knights dropped to 2-2 in the conference, 5-2 overall. They were in that game only trailing by 4 or 5 points midway through the fourth quarter, with just a few minutes left in the game. So the Knights played very well against a very tough Mary Washington team in the women's contest in the first game of this doubleheader.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they were within 4 or 5 points that entire game. Just couldn't close it out at the end. Got a little away from them, but they played tough, played good defense, and really a strong showing. Of course, you never like to see a loss. You always are here for a win and no moral victories, but you can certainly see the strides and the progress Coach Heather Roberts has had with the team and with the program.
Justin Prisby getting the first basket for the Knights. Knights rebound the miss on the other end and come up court with a 2-0 lead. Aaron Rumbaugh spinning, shooting, and hitting. 4-0 Southern Virginia.
Great little turnaround by Aaron Rumbaugh. He's leading the team right now, averaging 14 points a game. They look to him, they lean on him, and it's good to see him going early.
Aaron Rumbaugh had a great ball game against Wesley the other night, as did Prisby and McCready. It'll be Shaw shooting from the outside for Mary Washington, and he connects. 2-pointer for Eric Shaw. So Mary Washington's on the board at 4-2. Helen Winslow actually was able to hit a couple of threes against Wesley. Ball's knocked around, stolen away by Mary Washington. Up court in a hurry. Comes to Dylan Johnson. And now Jacob Williams has the basketball. Now Shaw, who got the opening basket for Mary Washington. A.J. Robinson between the circles. Shot clock down to 8. Jumper by Cronin. Off the glass, no good. Ball is tipped out of bounds, and it's going to be Knights basketball.
Yeah, Jim, as far as Mary Washington goes, I expect to see a heavy dose of Eric Shaw, number 1, leading their team, their squad, with 15 points a game on average, as well as, as well as Drew Johnson, number 11, averaging 13.5 points a game. So look for those two to be involved in the offense early.
And Mary Washington's got a pretty good bench as well. Here's Cale Thornton down low. He got free. Pass Cronin, 6-2, Knights by 4.
And that's where Cale lives, right on that block, and you saw him give a little contact, but that's all right. The rest will let it go. He uses his big body for the easy layup.
And Southern Virginia builds that lead back to 4. Pick outside for A.J. Robinson. Now drive to the basket, thrown out of bounds, turnover for the Eagles. Little backcourt pressure by Mary Washington. Knights will work it up court with a 4-point lead. It'll be Rumball from outside. He connects for a 3.
And that's a good sign. That's something Coach Caputo loves. If they can pick up where they left off last game, hitting threes early, getting a big lead, that's exactly what Coach's game plan has been.
7-point lead. It's going to be Cronin with the basketball. Almost walked with it. Hook shot up, no good. Easy rebound for Cale Thornton. Alex Johnson up court in a hurry. Rumball for another 3. Missed that one though. It's 9-2. Knights by 7. Back the other way. Jacob Williams over to A.J. Robinson. He misses a 3-pointer. The rebound to Williams. Batted out of bounds. No save by Cale Thornton.
Good awareness by Alec Johnson there. Have some active hands and don't give him an easy pass.
7-point lead for the Knights, and they've got the basketball. Played over 4.5 minutes. Knights on top here 9-2, and Aaron Rumball, who just hit a 3, down low to Prisby. Got free, got double team, sandwich, lost the basketball, and the Eagles will have it. Now Shaw, left side. He is shut off by Prisby. Williams outside to Robinson. Cronin at the foul line. Shot clock down to 5. It'll be Shaw firing from 3-point range and didn't hit anything. Cronin with the follow. He couldn't get it. Knights with the rebound. Prisby doesn't really have the numbers. Goes to Rumball. Nice no-look pass to Thornton.
Man, what a great pass. That was pretty exciting right there. Great court vision. I thought Rumball was going to take the 3 at initial thought, but he saw Cale Thornton streaking down the court and found him for the easy layup.
Aaron with that no-look pass that he likes to do. It's a 9-point lead for the Knights. Knights playing some good defense here too.
Yeah, it looks like they're communicating well. They're not getting outside their spot, just locking it down.
Cronin got his basket to go, and he is fouled.
And on cue.
Good pass by Mary Washington to find Cronin down to the baseline. He's got a chance at a 3-point play as Sam Armstrong will check in for the Knights, and a couple of substitutions coming in for Mary Washington as well. Mark Madison.
If I was a coach here, I would be okay with that foul. It's unfortunate that the ball dropped for the and one, but it's just kind of a sign of physicality by your big man to let him know that nothing's coming easy. I'm not going to sidestep anything, so you don't want to have too many of those, but it sends a message early on in the game.
The foul on Cale Thornton was his first. It's now 11-5. Knights still with a 6-point lead here. Rumball driving, shooting it off the glass. No good. Rebound. Cale Thornton up and no good. He's fouled. He'll get 2 shots. Yeah, I'm really not sure if it really matters too much that Cale Thornton or Tyler McCready were to get in foul trouble. They don't, at least to date, they really haven't played together. We haven't really seen a Twin Towers approach, and so if they're just subbing for each other, obviously Tony Caputo can afford one to have a few fouls here and there.
Yeah, he certainly has them exclusive with each other. They're never on the floor together. You see Cale rim out that first one. It's interesting. I think Coach Caputo likes the up tempo, but he realizes the value both McCready and Thornton have. But he wants guys who can run, and if he has 2 big guys out there, then the running doesn't happen as often.
Kiori Stewart committed the foul. Cale Thornton picking up 1 out of 2 at the foul line, and the Knights now lead 12-5. 7-point lead here for Southern Virginia. 14:35 to go in the first half. Pass down low to Cronin. Cronin spins it back outside to Madison. He drives and is fouled, and Cale Thornton, I think, has picked up foul number 2.
Yeah, and you see McCready immediately get up off the bench to sub in. I thought Cale was in good position there, but he was using his hands too much instead of staying straight up and making the player go around him. He kind of swiped at the ball and found some contact.
And so Mark Madison will go to the foul line. Sophomore from Chesapeake, Virginia. Shooting 2. Knocks down the first one. 6-point lead for the Knights. Again, in the women's contest, in our first game today, it was Mary Washington defeating Southern Virginia 64-51. So McCready is in. Thornton with those 2 fouls checks out. And it's now 12-7. And it looks like we've got a timeout on the court. 14:26 to go. 12-7. Knights on top. We'll break away for this message.
I signed up for my first art class, and I just fell in love with what we were doing. When you're learning, you need to be challenged to a point that you're willing to work harder, and that's what I needed.
To me, I felt like I didn't just want to learn how to create art. I wanted to know what to create art about.
The things that you read and you see and you expose yourself to automatically come out in your art. And you can't separate what you're letting into your mind with what's coming out in your art.
Part of being an aspiring artist is not only developing your artistic voice, but also you have something to say. And honestly, I would have nothing to say if it weren't for education.
Welcome back to the Knight Sports Arena. 12-7 right now. Southern Virginia on top of Mary Washington with 14:26 to go in the first half. And it's been all Knights. They jumped out to a 9-2 lead. Aaron Rumbaugh had a 3-pointer. And the Knights right now lead by 5.
Yeah, things going pretty well for the Knights early, other than Cale Thornton getting in some early foul trouble. 2 quick fouls, so we see the substitution with McCready in. But things are working as you see Mary Washington trying to change up the tempo, forcing the full court press.
Alec Johnson gets it ahead to Prisby. And now the Knights will go to that half-court offense. Man-to-man by Mary Washington. Johnson looking down low, back outside to Armstrong. Thought about taking the jump shot, didn't take it. Shot clock's at 4, down low to McCready, knocked out of bounds, and the Knights have it, but with only 3 seconds on the shot clock.
And Mary Washington got lucky there. McCready had that spin move, he was going inside and just barely took the ball away from him.
Gonna have to hurry here. Pass comes, outside, Armstrong, missed it. Not a bad look with only 3 on the shot clock, though.
No, and you like Sam Armstrong taking that shot, especially early, because if he can get into a rhythm, your whole offense opens up.
5-point lead for the Knights. Eagles working it around the perimeter. Drive pass inside, shot up, rims out, rebound to McCready after the miss by Ekpuck. And the Knights come down with a 5-point lead. Johnson got by his man, fires, and it hits.
Nice move there, and good work by Johnson to just see the lane and be aggressive and not overthink it with a dish out to the 3 or anything. Just get a quick bucket.
Knights now by 7. The ball outside. Long jumper by Madison is up and no good. Easy rebound for Aaron Rumbaugh. Here come the Knights on the break with a 7-point lead. Outside to Armstrong. He'll fire. No good on that 3-pointer. Rebound to Kiori Stewart. Up court in a hurry to Drew Johnson. Back to Stewart. Back to Johnson. He'll fire the 3 and hits. So the Knights had a chance at a 3 on their end with Armstrong missing, and back the other way. An easy jumper outside with no one in his face. And it was Drew Johnson getting it to make it 14-10, and the Knights up court had the ball kicked out of bounds. 18 on the shot clock for the Knights, who lead by 4.
You see Jaron Anderson is checking in right now. He was the leading scorer for both teams against Wesley, had 20 points, hit down 4 threes. If he can keep that up, you're going to see him increase his minutes. You see him coming off the bench, but coach is looking for somebody he can rely on.
And it looked like the three-pointers that he was able to make the other night, Seth, really kind of activated him offensively a little bit as the Knights have the turnover, not able to get the ball in, and so Mary Washington down by 4, but with the basketball.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Jaron Anderson was definitely feeling it last week. I'm not sure what kind of week he had in practice, but coach is going to test him here, see if he can hit some more of those shots.
Mary Washington's almost lost the basketball. Eagles retain it outside. Driving to the basket, shot off the glass, up and good by Jacob Williams, the junior from Centerville, Virginia. He makes it 14-12, and so the Knights had a 7-point lead. Now it's down to 2. And Jaron Anderson gets it across the timeline to Prisby. Prisby will take it right at his man, shoots off the glass too hard. Ball knocked out of bounds. Knights basketball. Southern Virginia holding on to a 2-point lead right now at 14-12. They led at one time 9-2. Armstrong hits. But we've got a foul. Looks like a pick on the Knights to get Armstrong free for that jump shot. And McCready will pick it up. Third team foul on the Knights. Just one team foul so far on Mary Washington. 2-point lead for the Knights. And right by Prisby goes Williams, but he couldn't hit the layup. And so the Knights still have that lead of 2 points. Anderson stopping on a dime, didn't take the jump shot. Knights will work the offense, looking for a good shot maybe inside. They go to McCready inside, and he was bumped. Ekpuk looked like he's going to pick up that foul. That's just the second team foul, though, on Mary Washington. Non-shooting foul.
A good find, way to find McCready there in the paint under the bucket. Certainly was a foul. McCready's a pretty big young man who got shoved pretty good there. It's a good foul called by the refs.
And Rimbaugh checks back in along with Colson Hardy. Hardy's first appearance in the game today. And Anderson had the ball kicked out of bounds. 11:19 to go first half, and the Knights lead here 14-12. They have led the entire game so far. This is McCready way away from the basket, looking inside. Now Rimbaugh to Armstrong, who backs his way in, shoots up and good. Sam Armstrong with his first basket, and it's 16-12, Southern Virginia.
A great decision by Armstrong there. Had the height advantage on the defender and just made it look easy.
Madison will go to the right side. Stewart, off-balance jump shot. What a heck of a shot that was from the right baseline by Kiori Stewart to make it 16-14. Eagles and the Knights battling here in the first half. 2-point lead for Southern Virginia. They've led the entire way. Pass down low for Rimbaugh, out of bounds, turnover, and it's Mary Washington basketball. Now Cronin will check back in for Mary Washington, and here comes Kellen Winslow in for the Knights, replacing Jaron Anderson. Knights scored the first 4 points of the game. Got out to a 9-2 lead. Right now it's a 2-point lead at 16-14. Winslow trying to get around a pick. And it looks like the foul will be called. A moving pick, maybe. Nope, it's going to be against Winslow picking it up, trying to go around the pick. That's the 14th foul on Southern Virginia. Austin Hall just into the game for Mary Washington. Sophomore down the left side. Over to Madison, and he hits a three. And Mary Washington, for the first time tonight, has the lead at 17-16. Knights led basically the first 10 minutes of the game, but now the Eagles have their first lead. And McCready down low. Couldn't get the jump shot to go. Rebound to Mary Washington. Boy, McCready had a good look that time.
Yeah, you've got to finish those for sure when you get that good of a look. It'll be interesting to see. We know Coach Caputo doesn't like to play people when they've got 2 fouls, but how long can he keep Cale Thornton on the bench?
Battle for the balls that went out of bounds after the miss by Mary Washington. And it looks like it's going to be Eagles basketball. Going to say Hardy touched it last. Stewart inbounding. 1-point lead for the Mary Washington Eagles. Driving to the basket, Madison fouled by McCready. McCready had a position, Seth, but it looked like he also left his feet.
And that's 2 on McCready now, so what does Coach do? Again, he doesn't like to play people while they've got 2 fouls.
Yeah, we like Spencer Brown's going to check in here for the Knights. Thornton's already on the bench with 2. McCready's got 2. Madison's foul shot is good, and Mary Washington now has a 2-point lead. Mary Washington came in with a record of 5-2 on the season. Knights 4-3. And now the Eagles have their biggest lead so far at 3 points. I know it was early, Seth, but the Knights really were looking strong at 9-2, and suddenly it's 19-16, Mary Washington.
Yeah, they were pretty hot to start. I think that full court press, as you see there, the ball's knocked out of bounds, is giving them a little issues at the moment. And again, I think Cale Thornton really helps this offense move. He's got a pretty good skill set. And
steal by the Eagles on the inbounds by Kellen Winslow. Ball was batted. It looked like Winslow thought it was going out of bounds, Seth, but it stayed inbounds. Nice no-look pass. Cronin is fouled by Spencer. Spencer Brown, the freshman from Shelby, Michigan, picking up that foul. And Cronin will go to the foul line to shoot 2 foul shots. Cronin, a 6'5 junior out of Springfield, Virginia, and that was the 6th team foul on the Knights, just 2 team fouls on the Eagles. So the Eagles will be shooting foul shots the rest of this first half.
Coach has to come up with something to figure out how to break that press. Maybe the answer is having no big man out there and just having a bunch of guys who can run and handle the ball. But they've got to start figuring it out because it's going to be a long night with those sloppy passes.
Alec Johnson replacing Sam Armstrong. Cronin missing the first one. And he got the second to make it 20-16, Mary Washington. And now that press again. Knights get it up court. 2-on-1 break. Alec Johnson stops. Outside to Winslow. Fakes the 3. Dribbles in. Had the ball kicked. And it's picked up by Mary Washington. Back come the Eagles. Kiori Stewart trying to go all the way. Shoots and misses. Alec Johnson with a nice rebound. He fires it ahead for room ball, and it's tipped out of bounds by Madison of Mary Washington, saving what could have been an easy layup for Aaron Roomball.
Yeah, it was a great rebound there by Alec Johnson. Got up, went over the man, and pulled it down. Some of these sloppy passes, though, just need to clean it up, tighten it up a little bit. Protecting the ball should be number 1.
And Roomball gets free off the inbounds, and Winslow finds him to make it 20-18. So the Knights claw their way back to within 2. Ball left side for Mary Washington. Now back out top. This is A.J. Robinson with it. Stewart moving around a pick. Open jumper, and he hits. Kiori Stewart makes it 22-18 Eagles. And the Knights trying to work up court against that pressure. Hardy across the timeline. Colson looks inside. Calls out a play with 15 on the shot clock. Johnson looking inside for Roomball. Aaron fadeaway jumper hits again. Aaron Roomball almost single-handedly keeping the Knights in this game.
Yeah, Rumbaugh is such a special player because he can kind of do it all for you. Shoots from outside, but works really well in the paint. Has a lot of touch around the rim, as you saw right there.
Here's Stewart with a 3. Missed it. And a rebound knocked away from the Knights. Picked up by Mary Washington. Robinson with a floater, and he hits. A.J. Robinson, after the Knights had the rebound, Seth but lost it. Knights working across the timeline, down by 4 again. Rumbaugh, no look pass that time, a little too high for Alec Johnson, out of bounds. Turnover for Southern Virginia.
That was the right idea, though. Rumbaugh saw the court really well, had Johnson underneath. If you're going to go no look, I guess that can affect how good the pass is, but just got to convert those.
Yeah, the Knights now trail here by 4, 24-20. It's been the biggest lead of this first half for the Eagles. They're looking to build upon that lead with 7:11 to go here in the first half. There's a no-look pass down low to Shaw. He can't score. Rumbaugh grabs the rebound, and a foul called on Mary Washington. I think that's going to be against number 11, Drew Johnson, and it'll be the third team foul on Mary Washington. Non-shooting foul.
Yeah, you see Rumbaugh getting it done on both ends here.
And another foul, this one on Austin Hall, bumping Winslow. Again, non-shooting foul, just the 14th foul on the Eagles. So the Knights will take it out of bounds again and still have to deal with that press. Hardy up court to Rumbaugh. Knights break the press, have a fast break, over to Brown, and he couldn't get the slam to go. Spencer Brown had a chance to slam it home, couldn't quite make the slam. Back comes Mary Washington with a 4-point lead. A.J. Robinson will fire a 3, and it's up and no good. A tip up and in by Mary Washington by Drew Johnson to make it 26-20. So the Knights had a slam, couldn't convert on one end, a tip by Mary Washington, and now a steal by the Eagles. Knights might need a timeout if Mary Washington scores here. Shaw will fire the 3, and it rims out. That's a big miss there. Could have been a 9-point lead for Mary Washington already.
Yeah, important you get a bucket here. Just run your offense, see the pass, make the pass, and convert on the bucket.
Rumbaugh away from the basket. Now Spencer Brown. Shot clock is down to 10. Winslow will fire from the baseline, left it short. And the rebound comes to Mary Washington. They've got a 6-point lead and the basketball with 5:53 to go in the first half. And now it'll be a jump shot outside by Austin Hall, the sophomore out of Annandale, Virginia. He hits a 3-pointer, 29-20. Back come the Knights on a fast break, down now by 9 after they had a 7-point lead in the opening minutes. And a foul over the back. It's going to be on A.J. Robinson trying to deny that pass inside to Spencer Brown.
Yeah, everyone saw obviously the Spencer Brown trying to finish strong with the dunk on that fast break. It was a good defensive play by Mary Washington. There was some contact. Unfortunately, they didn't get the call from the ref.
Timeout on the court, 29-20. Mary Washington on top. Will break away for this message. And welcome back. 5:34 to go here in this first half of action. And the Knights of Southern Virginia trying to battle from behind now. Early in this basketball game in the opening minutes, Seth, it was Southern Virginia dominating Mary Washington. They got off to a 4-0 lead, expanded that lead to 9-2. And since Mary Washington was able to take the lead, they've taken charge. And now they've got their biggest lead so far at 9 points at 29-20.
Yeah, the game started to shift once you saw Mary Washington go to that full court press. Given the Knights a few issues early on, it's led to some easy buckets for Mary Washington. And a few times they've been able to break the press. They just haven't found the open look or haven't been able to convert on the shot. So look for the Knights. They've got to keep grinding, keep finding open shots. You're going to see Justin Prisby come back out on the floor. Smaller lineup right now for smaller lineup for Coach Caputo right here. Looks like he's going for offense, wants some shooters on the floor. Knights
have 7 turnovers so far in this first half. They're 9 of 18 from the floor. They're hitting 50%, Seth, but again, Mary Washington just fewer turnovers right now. And the Knights really could use a hoop here, down by 9. Prisby to Rumball. Aaron spins, great spin move. Stick back by Alec Johnson, just left it short. And Rumball pulls down the rebound, gets it out to Hardy.
Heck of an effort by Alec Johnson and Aaron Rumball right there.
Rumball trying to spin again and shoot with one hand. Kind of an awkward shot. The rebound goes to the Knights. The shot clock's down to 8. They're going to have to hurry here. Step back jumper by Johnson is no good. And the rebound taken away by Mary Washington. Right now, Aaron Rumball's got 9 points, 9 of the 20 the Knights have.
Yeah, you see right there, it just feels like everything's a struggle right now, trying to find those points. They kind of need to break out of this funk here.
Knights battling for the rebound. They knock it out of bounds, and it's going to be last touched by Mary Washington, so it's Knights basketball. Knights have not scored in a while. Only 4:32 left until halftime. As you mentioned, Seth, they really need to get out of this funk. They need to close this deficit and try to make it extremely close by halftime.
Yeah, they need to find a fast break or an easy layup somewhere, something to just give it to them easy so that they might be able to get into a rhythm of some kind, bring the momentum back to them.
Johnson outside with it. Over to Hardy. Colson Hardy with it on left wing. He'll go to the top of the key. He's bumped. That'll be the 16th foul on Mary Washington. And Mike Janowski, a freshman from Sterling, Virginia, picking up that foul. Got a non-shooting foul, so each team now 16 fouls. Both teams shooting at least a 1-on-1 the rest of the way home. Kellen Winslow kind of limping a little bit, and it looks like they're going to take him out and bring in Jaron Anderson.
Yeah, I think the ref spotted some blood on Kellen Winslow's leg, forcing him to come out, so we see Jaron Anderson inbound the ball here.
Anderson, as the Knights try to cut into a 9-point deficit. Alec Johnson to Rumball. Rumball almost drawing a double team. He'll go to the baseline, fires off the glass, too strong. And this foul will go against the Knights. It may be against Jaron Anderson over the back trying to grab the rebound, and it is. And so Mary Washington will go the other way to shoot a 1-on-1.
And just nothing going for him right now. Aaron Rumball trying to take over. That's a shot he makes pretty often, something we've seen him do. Trying to bank it off the glass there, but just nothing doing for the Knights right now.
Yeah, the Knights in the opening few minutes, Seth, they were on fire offensively. But as you mentioned, with turnovers especially, they just can't buy a basket right now. Janowski hits the first foul shot. And Mary Washington now 7 of 8 from the charity stripe, so that's another area where Mary Washington has really reaped some benefits in this first half. Make it 8 of 9 from the foul line. 31-20, biggest lead so far for Mary Washington. They trailed by 7 early in this first half. Now they're on top by 11. Knights again need a basket. Try to stay in this game against the Eagles. Jaron Anderson got around his man on a layup with his left hand.
Yeah, nice finish with the left hand by Jaron Anderson there. Just patient with the ball and found the open lane. Huge, huge for the Knights. Just need to stop here and keep it rolling.
31-22. Janowski with it against Rumball. And a man by the Knights. Janowski will fire a three and rims out. The rebound, Drew Johnson back outside. Jacob Williams driving to the basket and scores with his left hand. 33-22, still an 11-point lead here for Mary Washington. Knights up court, Jaron Anderson all the way, undercut. Going to be a blocking foul on Mary Washington. That's kind of a dangerous situation right there.
Yeah, it certainly was. I like the aggressive nature, though, by Jaron Anderson right there. He was just looking for contact the whole way and got to the line.
Defensive player, I know you're trying to draw a charge, but that could be really scary, really for both players.
Yeah, it takes a lot to just stand there like that.
Jaron Anderson, after the contact, he'll go to the foul line. Knights are, I believe, just 1 out of 2 from the foul line. Mary Washington's 8 out of 9. So the Eagles have shot obviously more foul shots here in this first half. Anderson gets the first one. And now 33-24. Again in the women's contest, Mary Washington defeated Southern Virginia 64-51 in a game that was much, much closer than the final score indicated. 13-point win, though, for Mary Washington in the women's contest against Southern Virginia. Here the men from Mary Washington ahead. Janowski fires and hits. And Janowski hits a jump shot to put his team back on top, 35-24. 11-point lead for Mary Washington. That's their biggest lead so far in this game. The Knights had a 7-point lead in the first half, early in the first half. And right now in the first half, the Knights are just trying to battle back. Prisby double team, got his shot rejected, but he hung with it and scored.
Good effort there. Good way to keep your composure there by Justin Prisby, and really got a much-needed basket for the Knights.
35-26, Janowski to the right side to A.J. Robinson. Another open three, and Robinson out of the right corner buries it to make it 38-26. A steal up and in by Jacob Williams, 40-26. After the Knights scored just like that, a 5-0 run by Mary Washington to put the lead up to 14. And now Anderson will try to answer with a three, and he hits.
That was a nice shot by Anderson there. Wide open. You got to hit those wide open looks, and he capitalized.
40-29. Knights trying to battle from behind. A miss, a rebound. Out for A.J. Robinson for another three. This one is no good. Tip for the rebound, and it's pulled down by Jacob Williams, and he's fouled by Jaron Anderson. And on the hook shot, he scores, and a chance at a three-point play.
That's like the third or fourth time Mary Washington has put up a three, and the long rebound has gone back to him. That's really killing him right now, giving second opportunities to Mary Washington. Got to cut down on those if they want to cut into this lead.
Anderson picks up his second foul. Armstrong will check out, and Kellen Winslow will check back in. Just a minute 21 to go in this first half. It is now 42-29, Mary Washington trying to convert on this free throw to jump that lead back up to 14. That's their biggest lead so far in this first half. They missed the foul shot. Rebound, Alec Johnson. Knights down by 13. Trying to close a little bit before halftime. Room ball. Lost the ball trying to go through two defenders, and it's pulled away by Mary Washington. Turnovers are really hurting the Knights. And in that case, Seth, it might have been Aaron Rumbaugh maybe trying to do a little bit too much, trying to go through two defenders. And getting free with a layup is no good. There's Cronin with the rebound. And he got the ball outside for another three. It's up and no good. Another offensive rebound. This by Stewart. Stewart over to Cronin. He can't score. And the Knights battling in there defensively to stop Mary Washington.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. If you're not going to get those rebounds and your opponent's going to have that many offensive chances, it's just tough. It's an uphill battle.
Knights down by 13. They need a basket here with just 28 seconds to go till halftime. Anderson driving, shooting, and he got it.
That left hand again, Jaron Anderson really providing some type of offense, some type of spark here late in the first half.
42-31, lead right now 11 for Mary Washington. Drive to the basket, left-hand miss on the layup attempt by Austin Hall. Knights can play for the last shot. They're going to have to hurry. Anderson with a three. Got it!
Wow. Just like that, Jaron Anderson single-handedly bringing them back within single digits to make this halftime deficit not look so big. Really impressive three right there, basically at the buzzer.
Yeah, at one point in that first half, Mary Washington had built that lead up to 14 points, but Jaron Anderson getting a lot of offensive opportunities here in the last few minutes of this first half, Seth, and he paid off for it for the Knights. And as a result, the Knights only go into the locker room down by 8. They could be in much worse shape considering all those turnovers.
Yeah, psychologically, it's such a big difference to be down single digits versus that 10-point mark. Great work by Jaron Anderson. Great hustle and just good basketball IQ to finish there. It doesn't, Jim, it hasn't felt like, if you've watched this first half, at least in my opinion, it doesn't feel like Mary Washington is imposing their will on Southern Virginia. It's just they're making sloppy turnovers. That full court press has given them some problems, but they're not being physically dominated. Mary Washington isn't even shooting all that great, but they're just getting all those offensive rebounds for those second chance points.
Yeah, the Eagles, perhaps really don't have the height advantage inside. They got a lot of good athletes out there, and it looks like they don't really rely on any one or two individuals to do their scoring. And they were able to hit some three-pointers and hit from the foul line, but it's really those turnovers for the Knights, and if they can reduce those turnovers, you would think they would have a good chance here in the second half.
Yeah, certainly. And, man, I'm sure nothing bugs a coach more. I'm sure this is what Coach Caputo is talking about. Number one, again, is those second chance points. You can't give the other team second chances when they're missing shots.
So the Knights have 9 turnovers in that first half of action, just 3 turnovers for Mary Washington. You can see the balanced scoring for Mary Washington as they had 9 players score for the Knights. 21 of their 34 points came from Aaron Rimbaugh and Jaron Anderson.
Yeah, Jaron Anderson, as we mentioned, finishing strong, 12 points already. But looking again at the stat sheet, Mary Washington 9 offensive rebounds to just Southern Virginia's 3.
Now you look at the shooting percentages. Mary Washington's 15 of 38, only 39.5%. The Knights are 14 of 27, nearly 52%.
Yeah, but they're just Mary Washington getting more opportunities, more looks, and it's just kind of a numbers game. The more attempts you get, the more likely you are to score points. That's pretty logical, and they're showing it right here. But I think, if they can clean those up, the Knights got to feel confident going into the second half because they've got the momentum. Again, that spark provided by Anderson late in that first half.
Halftime score, once again, it is Mary Washington 42 and Southern Virginia 34. We'll take a little break here from the Knight Sports Arena. Welcome back to the Night Sports Arena. Jim Bresnahan, Seth Hansen ready to bring you second half action of Southern Virginia and Mary Washington. Strange first half as the Knights got off to a great start, jumped on top 4-0, led 9-2 at one point, and then Mary Washington with that press started to take charge, forcing Knights turnovers, Seth, and they finally pulled ahead, and they actually got their lead up to 14 points before the Knights were able to make a little run right before the end of the first half to cut that lead down to 8 at halftime at 42-34.
Yeah, and good thing, too, for the Knights. It was good to see that little spurt at the end to bring it within single digits again. Story of the game, some turnovers off of that Mary Washington full-court press, and then we keep talking about, sound like a broken record, we keep talking about those offensive rebounds Mary Washington keeps getting. They've got 17 total rebounds. 9 of them were offensive rebounds in that first half. I know Coach Caputo's preaching to him at the halftime that you can't give up that many second-chance opportunities. So look for him to be a little more aggressive on the boards in this second half.
Yeah, in some respects, you look at Mary Washington's shooting percentage in that first half, and again, it was under 40%. If, they missed a lot of those offensive stickbacks. If those go down, instead of an 8-point lead, they might have a 15 or 16-point lead.
Yeah, certainly could have been a bigger lead. Could be a different game right now, but the Knights are still in it, and they have a chance here to make some leeway on that lead.
Mary Washington defeated Southern Virginia 64-51 in the women's contest tonight. Southern Virginia women playing an excellent ball game, in it all the way to the very end, losing by 13. Mary Washington getting the first basket of the second half, and that was Eric Shaw who scored the opening basket of the first half for Mary Washington, and he picks up the opening basket of the second half as well. 44-34. Cale Thornton has got 2 fouls. Goes right around his man and scores.
Cale Thornton making that immediate impact we haven't seen since the first 5 minutes of the game. As you mentioned, he's been sitting on the bench with 2 fouls, but good to see him back, and good to see him make that first bucket of the half for the Knights.
Yeah, both Cale Thornton and McCready had 2 fouls in that first half and did not see a lot of playing minutes as Cronin trying to go around Cale Thornton, can't score, but Shaw was able to grab a rebound and put it back up and in to make it 46-36. Almost a steal by Mary Washington. Knights trying to get it up court to Winslow. No foul call. Room ball passing over to Thornton. Stolen away by Mary Washington.
Wow, I can't believe that wasn't called a foul.
Tony Caputo couldn't believe it either. Running jump shot up and good by A.J. Robinson. And now it is a 12-point lead here for Mary Washington at 48-36, and they continue to apply that defensive pressure. Frisbee to Allard Johnson. Now we get a foul call.
That was a makeup call. Going back to that play, I understand the thought is both players have the right to the ball when it's in the air, but Kellen Winslow had the ball in his hands when he got hit and almost fell over. But either way, Knights ball.
A.J. Robinson picking up his second foul. So the first team foul of the second half goes against the Eagles of Mary Washington. Eagles on top here, 48-36. Winslow down low to Thornton. Baseline. Had it blocked from behind by Shaw. Thornton tried to pick up his own loose ball. It's on the floor, knocked out of bounds, and they're going to say last touch by Cale Thornton.
It was good effort there. It was a really good defensive play by Shaw as Cale Thornton went up to finish. He got a piece of the ball. Just got to keep fighting. You got to grind it out. That's all you can do in this situation.
Knights trail by 12. Can ill afford to fall further behind. Williams to Robinson. Robinson back to Jacob Williams. Nice pass inside, and a foul called on Winslow as he fouled Dylan Johnson. Non-shooting foul, so the Eagles will take it out of bounds. Pass comes outside to Shaw, and he walked with the basketball. Eric Shaw, the senior from Fredericksburg, 6'7", 190 pounds, and tried to get a early start on his trip to the basket and walk with the ball. So the turnover that time goes against the Eagles. Knights down by 12, looking for a basket. Get a little closer. Frisbee, spin move outside to Winslow. Frisbee gets by his man and couldn't get the shot to go. Great move by Justin Frisbee, just could not convert.
Yeah, really good footwork, good drive to the hoop, but kind of been the Knights' night tonight. Just haven't been able to finish at the rim.
So the Mary Washington lead stays 12. Now make it 15 on the A.J. Robinson three-pointer. 51-36, biggest lead so far of the game for Mary Washington. Prisby drops it off for a room ball. Aaron is double teamed. Winslow on a drive to the basket. Over to Prisby. Ball's knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be Knights basketball. And we've got a timeout on the court. 16:37 to go. Your score here, Mary Washington 51. And the Knights 36 will come right back after this message.
I'm Michael Gibbons. I've been here since 2003. I am currently the Dean of Students and Vice President of Student Life. I'm new in that role, but I've been at the school for some time. You know, being in a small community, I like the fact that I can ride my motorcycle. I'm not scared to get out on the roads here. It's a safe, fun little community. I think the main reason students need to consider SVU is the unique education that we offer as a whole individual. We do the academic thing really well, but there's also social growth and spiritual growth and emotional growth. As a parent, I had 4 children who have attended here. I wouldn't pick any other school for my children over SVU.
16:37 to go here in the second half. It's Mary Washington 51 and Southern Virginia 36. At the times early in this game, Seth, where the Knights dominated to a certain degree, it was when Cale Thornton and Tyler McCready were on the floor, and of course they had 2 fouls in the first half and did not play a lot of minutes combined between the two of them. And they just haven't had Cale Thornton and Tyler McCready on the floor to really dominate offensively.
No, they haven't, and you're seeing Cale back on the floor now, and he's had some impact, but they're not in rhythm. Nothing is really coming easy for them naturally right now. They've got to find somebody who can hit some shots. There's still a lot of time left in this game, though.
In that first half, Thornton only played 6 minutes, and McCready only played 5 minutes. The lead is 15 right now for Mary Washington. Justin Prisby with only 5 on the shot clock. Great move. Got his man up in the air and scores.
Great move by Justin Prisby. Look to see a lot more of that going forward. That's what the Knights need.
51-38. Shaw driving to the basket. Off to A.J. Robinson, who's hit some big shots here in the last few minutes. Now Shaw against Thornton, drives to the basket, can't score, rebound, Cale Thornton. Knights trying to reduce that deficit below 13 if they can score. 15 has been the biggest lead so far for the Eagles. Knights' biggest lead in the first half was 7. Johnson trying to lob it into Roombaugh, turns it over instead. Fast break, Mary Washington. No foul call on the layup attempt. And the Eagles not able to score on their end. Roombaugh all the way, and he can't score. Thornton with the rebound, up and in.
Nice rebound there. I'm a little shocked they didn't call the foul on the other end.
Yeah, they're letting them play out there.
They certainly are. It looked like the Mary Washington player might have jumped into the Knight defender, but still it looked like there had to be a foul one way or the other.
Step back jumper by Mary Washington, up and good by Mark Madison to make it 53-40. Back comes Prisby all the way. He tries to score, blocked. No foul call. Again, a lot of contact. The ball knocked out of bounds. It is going to be Knights basketball. I think both teams could say they thought they got fouled. There's no foul call, so they really are letting them play. And I guess you could say to a certain degree, Seth, they're letting them play on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing. And I think as a coach, you would rather have the refs, let them play rather than calling every single touch foul. So it goes both ways on how they feel about it.
Got a foul call this time on Mary Washington. Fiore Stewart is going to get the foul call. Non-shooting foul, his second, and the team's second. So 2 team fouls on the Eagles, 1 team foul on the Knights. 53-40, Prisby to Winslow, right corner, couldn't hit it. Boy, that was a big 3-point miss there for the Knights. Could have reduced the deficit down to 10. Back comes the Eagles. Janowski trying to attack Cale Thornton is fouled by Hardy, I believe, from behind, unless they're going to put the foul on Cale Thornton. Looks like it's going to be on Hardy. And that will send Janowski, the freshman, 6'2", 195 pounds, to the foul line to shoot 2.
That one looked pretty close. I guess there's a good chance he did get the forearm there, but I thought Hardy sized the ball up well as Janowski brought it over his head, but the ref saw otherwise.
Missed the first one, got the second, 54-40, 14-point lead for the Eagles. Backcourt pressure again, and almost a steal. Room ball, double team, trying to split a double team, got it over to Hardy. Hardy up court to Prisby. Down low Thornton, and he's fouled by Janowski.
Yeah, there wasn't much else Janowski could do right there. Cale just had such a big size advantage over him.
And I would imagine they've been told to a certain degree, if Thornton's got the ball and he's loose for an easy shot, foul him, let him take his chances at the foul line.
Yeah, Cale Thornton certainly has struggled from the foul line this year. But you see him sink that first one, that's a good sign. But yeah, if there's an area of his game that he could improve, this would be it.
Yeah, that foul shot cuts the lead to 13. Now they're looking at Cale's jersey maybe for some blood.
Interesting that they're just catching it now. I wonder if it was on that shot attempt or somewhere else along the line, if that blood's coming from him or from another player.
Yeah, it didn't look like any serious contact there with Thornton and Janowski.
And Cale looked confused when the ref approached him about it.
Especially since he'd already shot one foul shot.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think the blood is from him. I think he'd be feeling that it must be coming off somebody else's.
So here we go. Cale, after a little delay, shooting the second foul shot. And he hits it. So the Knights are back to within 12 with those made free throws. (54-42). Knights trying to cut into this Mary Washington lead. And Thornton
is saying he stepped on the line there.
Yep. Stewart stepped out of bounds on the end line. Good defense by Cale Thornton, and it's a turnover for Mary Washington. And now the Knights, with a bucket, can try to get it to within 10 if they can get it up court. And a foul is going to be called. Looks like on Cronin, number 33 for the Eagles.
Yeah, he reached in there, and going back to the play, he stepped out of bounds. That was I won't say lucky, but it's a good thing for the Knights that he called the out of bounds and didn't say Cale Thornton shoved him, because that would have been number 3 on Cale.
And so the Knights have a chance here with the three-pointer to get within single digits, 54-42. Hardy with it outside. And Winslow almost lost it, got it back. Kellen down low to Thornton. Thornton got through 2 defenders and scores.
And you can see Cale Thornton has been working very hard in the offseason to improve his game underneath the basket, improve his footwork, and it's paying off right now. He looks like a different player than he did last season, in my opinion.
Timeout on the court, 54-44, 13:44 to go. We'll break away for this message.
Hi, I'm Richard George. I'm one of the vice presidents here at Southern Virginia University. I'm an Olympian. I was also a member of the United States track and field team in 1975, and I think the same qualities, the same motivation, the same drive that makes world-class athletes also makes good students. In college, I did track and field. It worked perfectly for me and my education because I could achieve goals athletically that were very similar to the types of goals that I had academically. As I look at the opportunities here at Southern Virginia University of participating at the NCAA level, and also have an unparalleled academic experience coupled with an environment that is LDS standards. I think that combination is hard to find. I don't think there's a better opportunity anywhere on earth to do that.
Welcome back to the Night Sports Arena. Jim Bresnahan and Seth Hansen with you here. 54-44, 10-point lead right now for Mary Washington. 13:44 to go in regulation. Eagles have led by as many as 15 points. Right now the Knights have cut that lead down to 10.
And you see Jaron Anderson is making his way onto the court. He's the one, he had a great end to that first half. He's got 12 points on the game. See if him and Cale Thornton can keep this offense rolling right now.
And here's Madison with a three-pointer up and no good. Rebound Cronin outside. Pass comes, right side now, jump shot good. And it was Madison again hitting a three-pointer. So he hit the three, Seth, and that's because he got a second chance at it.
Yep, those offensive rebounds are killing the Knights. It's got to be really frustrating for Coach.
57-44. Knights trail by 13 now. They break the pressure. Aaron Rumbaugh to Prisby near the foul line. Justin battling towards the goal. He scores! And a chance at a three-point play for Justin Prisby.
Prisby is an interesting player to me just because he handles the ball so well. He's not the tallest player on the court, but he loves to play inside the paint. He's not scared to go in where the big guys are, and he finishes well. He makes the most of it.
And Justin Prisby has 8 now. Make that 8 as he missed the foul shot. Chance to get it a little bit closer. Now we got a whistle. One of the Knights down on the floor.
Looks like Aaron Rumbaugh. I'm not sure what happened.
Must have obviously happened on the rebound attempt. All you can think about, if we'll see what he favors here. Didn't see him get hit.
And no, the only thing I could think is on the box out attempt, as you mentioned, he got hit somewhere, just hurt. It looks like he's okay though, walking off on his own power. You see, looks like Kellen Winslow going to sub in for him, maybe not. Alec Johnson.
Alec Johnson will check in. It's 57-46. Lead right now, 11 points for Mary Washington, 13-10 to go. Knights really want to try to get this down into single digits, maybe in the 6 to 7 point mark, I would imagine, Seth, when they get it under 10 minutes. They don't want to see Mary Washington try to fool around with a 15-point lead, let's say, with 4 or 5 minutes to go.
No, you need to cut into this lead as much as you can. You don't have to press too hard, but just be smart with the basketball.
This is Jacob Williams over to Kiori Stewart. He drives to the basket, got free, and scores. He went through 2 or 3 defenders, and Kiori Stewart with the layup to make it 59-46. And the lead increases back to 13 points as the Knights, again, trying to work up court against this pressure. Anderson gets it ahead. 2-on-1 break. Hardy all the way. He scores.
Nice finish by Hardy there. He fooled me. I thought he was for sure going to dish it off to Thornton, who was sitting waiting for the pass.
Lead down to 11. Stewart passing inside to Cronin. He couldn't get the shot to go. I think Cronin was actually throwing that up, hoping to get a foul call. Prisby all the way scores. And the lead is now down to 9. 59-50. Knights within single digits. Let's see if they can keep it going. Eagles looking for an opening and a foul line jumper. Up and good for Jacob Williams, who was left totally free for that shot.
He's got Prisby. Yeah, there you go.
61-50. And Johnson got it up court, knocked away by Mary Washington. Eagles get the steal. It's Madison up court in a hurry. Madison doesn't have the numbers, and now he'll slow it up. 11-point lead for the Eagles. Williams going down low to Cronin. Cronin up, trying to get through Cale Thornton, and he scores to make it 63-50. So the Knights have gotten the lead down to 9. Now it's back to 13. And up court, Kiori Stewart bumping Alec Johnson for the foul. I think that might be Stewart's third foul. Let's see. It is. Substitutions coming in here for Mary Washington. You can see how deep their bench is, Seth.
Yeah. They got a lot of guys over there. And for the Knights as well, you're going to see Tyler McCready come in for Thornton, give him a blow. And Rumbaugh back in the game. Good to see that he's not hurt, not too banged up to come back in. Hopefully he'll make his impact known.
Six team fouls now on Mary Washington, just 2 team fouls on the Knights. So potentially the Knights could maybe try to make up some headway from the foul line, which is an area where Mary Washington really dominated in the first half. Knights trail here by 13. 63-50. 11:15 to go in the second half. Hardy's got it. Man-to-man defense by Mary Washington. Hardy to Rumbaugh. Nice pass to McCready. And he couldn't get the shot to go. I think they're going to count the basket. Somebody maybe got their hand up inside the net. Count the basket.
Wow.
And a foul, too.
That looked out pretty good. I didn't think that ball was going to go in, but Coach Caputo's upset about something. Oh.
Thought they were going to count the basket.
It looked like he signaled for that on the court, but they announced on the floor, too, that they were shooting 1-and-1, but that doesn't make sense. Yeah, the ref now signaling 2 shots, so I guess they didn't count the basket.
Yeah, it looked to me like he signaled basket was good, but apparently not. So McCready hits the first foul shot. One more coming. He cuts that lead down to 12 now. It's 63-51. And 63-52. There was an 8-point lead for Mary Washington at halftime. Right now the lead is 11 for the Eagles. They have just done just enough set to stay ahead of the Knights here in the second half. And driving to the basket is Madison.
Good defense by Cole
Shaw, good spin move against McCready, and he is fouled, and that's Tyler's 3rd foul, I believe. Eric Shaw, what an athlete he is, and he's a big guy too, 6'7", 190 pounds. Senior out of Fredericksburg. He'll shoot 2. And he makes it a 64-52 game. The Eagles have really racked up some points compared to the Knights from the foul line. Missed that one. Rebound, though, for Mary Washington, and they get the ball. And a chance to run the clock a little bit. 12-point lead for the Eagles, and they now have the basketball. Madison drives to the basket, off the glass, and good. These offensive rebounds have just killed the Knights tonight.
That has definitely been the story and definitely been the difference here tonight, more than anything, I would think.
McCready was wide open. They didn't get him the ball, and the ball is kicked by Mary Washington. And now here comes Winslow into the game for the Knights. He'll replace Hardy. So you got Winslow, Rumbaugh out there, along with Alec Johnson, McCready, and Jaron Anderson. 20 on the shot clock. Anderson inbounds to Rumbaugh, and up and in. It's 66-54. 12-point lead. 10-10 to go in regulation. This is A.J. Robinson with it outside, working against Alec Johnson. Now Shaw drives to the basket. Blocked by McCready. Out of bounds. Last touch by Tyler. Shot clock at 9 for the Eagles.
That was a great block by McCready. Saw him going into the lane and sized him up perfect.
Inbounds to Shaw. He'll shoot the jumper and hits. 68-54. I'll tell you, when it comes to the scoring, Mary Washington has really spread it around. Knights have really relied on Rumbaugh, Jaron Anderson, to a certain degree Presby. We mentioned at halftime the Eagles had 9 guys score. Knights trailing by 14. Again, need a basket. Anderson passing inside, knocked out of bounds. 10 on the shot clock here for Southern Virginia. It's been tough for the Knights to really make a comeback here in the second half. As we mentioned, Seth, the Eagles have done just enough to stay ahead.
Yeah, they need to give some different looks on offense. Someone needs to set a screen. Did you see Aaron Rumbaugh? That's exactly what they need. They need to find some screens. Don't force the ball inside so much, what they're thinking right now. We saw Jaron Anderson hit 2 threes in the first half. Need to start getting him some space so that he can start lighting it up from 3.
68-56, Madison driving. Wild shot, rebound to Williams. And they're going to say foul from behind. Another offensive rebound. That foul will go against Jaron Anderson. Looks like that'll be his third. I think Tony Caputo is arguing it was not a shooting attempt by Jacob Williams, that he was going to pass the ball.
Yeah, coach is upset. Definitely better be careful. Doesn't want to grab a technical right here.
And Williams makes the foul shot. Well, there's no getting around the mathematics of it right now with the Knights trailing here, Seth. The Knights are going to have to get some defensive stops, stop allowing offensive rebounds if they have any chance to come from behind here in the final 9 minutes and 8 seconds.
Got to start grabbing those rebounds and start letting your shooters shoot. I know, the game is to get it inside. I understand that, but you got some guys who can shoot here. They need to let them loose.
70-56, the lead back to 14 for Mary Washington. Their biggest lead tonight's been 15. Knights again need a big basket here. Alec Johnson knocked away, steal by Mary Washington.
Now you're seeing Mary Washington slow it down, trying to run some of that clock.
This is Madison on a drive. Drops it off for Shaw at the foul line. Wide open, Jacob Williams. He's too strong on his three-point attempt, and the rebound comes to the Knights, and now they really need to make a basket. Down by 14 points. Jaron Anderson, right side jumper, up and no good. Rims out, tough miss there for Southern Virginia.
Got as close as it can get there, in and out.
14-point lead now for the Eagles with 8 minutes and 10 seconds, and now the clock becoming a factor, especially with a double-digit lead. Williams fakes the three, drives, goes over to the left side to Drew Johnson for a long jumper, and he hits it, a three-pointer, 73-56. And now it's desperation time for the Knights, down by 17 with only 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
Yeah, somebody's got to be able to find some offensive rhythm in these last few minutes if they want to have any shot at coming back here.
Eagles again hitting some big baskets, especially from three-point range. McCready's got it outside, down low to Rumbaugh. Aaron, baseline jumper, up and no good. He had another tough miss there. And up court comes the Eagles with a 17-point lead. Now Mary Washington, we'll see if they run the clock a little bit. No, they go right to the basket. Williams misses the shot. Back come the Knights on a break. Alec Johnson tried to do a little behind-the-back pass. It hit his knee. And it looks like it went off a Mary Washington player last, so fortunately the Knights still have it. It almost looked like he was going to do some sort of behind-the-back maneuver. There was nobody on his left, so I'm not sure he was going to dribble behind his back or what.
Yeah, not sure what he was thinking right there.
Anderson inbounding. Knights really need a basket, down by 17 points. Jaron down low to McCready. Got free, and he was fouled from behind, and Tyler will go to the foul line to shoot two.
You see Cale Thornton check back in here, depending on the McCready free throws, but it's good to see Jaron with the ball in his hands a little more activity. I think that's a good idea for where they're at in the game right now.
Another tough miss, this time from the foul line. Mary Washington won the women's contest against Southern Virginia, 64-51. And Tyler McCready getting 1 out of 2 from the foul line to make it 73-57. The lead right now for Mary Washington, 16 points. And now the Eagles will try to run a little clock. It looks like Madison Drops it off. Ball knocked away by the Knights. Good defense by Jaron Anderson. Johnson getting it down low. Ball's knocked away by Jacob Williams. Williams drops it back to Shaw. He couldn't score. Williams tried to save it and stepped on the end line, and so the ball will go back to Southern Virginia.
Great effort by Alec Johnson right there, not giving up after he turned the ball over, because he forced that, played tough D on him, got his hand on the ball, and it was just good work, good effort. You love to see that from your team.
So we've got a timeout on the court. 6:39 to go. And we'll take a break here from the Knights Sports Arena with the Knights trailing by 16 points. We'll take this break for this message.
My name is Bailey Rusick. I'm a sophomore here at Southern Virginia University, and I'm from Highland, Utah. Currently, I'm the activity senator, and I'm also on the golf team. This season is only a couple weeks in, and it's going great. We have a lot of potential, and we could go really far. I would recommend everything about SVU. I love the fact that I know all my professors personally and that they know who I am and they know my goals, my desires, and they're here to help me achieve that. You come to love this campus and appreciate it and feel like this energy that comes from it, and then you go home for a little bit and you just want to be back. Anyone who's considering to come out to SVU, just do it, because the opportunities here are amazing. I think that's what matters most.
6:39 to go in regulation. Mary Washington 73, Southern Virginia 57. Jim Bresnahan back here with you along with Seth Hansen. And Seth coming up on Saturday. The Knights will be at home taking on Carolina Christian Saturday at 3 o'clock. Following Saturday, they get Randolph at home. Then on Saturday the 30th, they host McDaniel. We'll have that Carolina Christian game for you coming up Saturday, December the 9th at 3 p.m. So the Knights, as we've talked about in the pregame, won't have another Capital Conference game coming up until early January, but they do have 3 home games coming up the next 3 Saturdays.
Yeah, you know, hopefully they can come back strong on this one. There's only 6.5 minutes left.
And they threw it out of bounds, hit the ref, got a little bit of a break. It went right to Jaron Anderson. He couldn't control it, lost it out of bounds. Turnover for Southern Virginia. And now we'll see if the Eagles really go into a slowdown game. Every trip down, maybe trying to take 15 or 20 seconds at least off the shot clock. Now they're looking at Eric Shaw's elbow. See if he's got some blood maybe. I think he's coming off. So 6:31 to go and a momentary stoppage of play as they work on Eric Shaw.
Good work by our training staff here at Southern Virginia University. Paul Tobias taking care of Eric Shaw, taking care of both teams tonight. Really been helping out a lot, so shout out to them.
Well, 16 points in 6 minutes 31 seconds is doable, but it's going to take a lot of turnovers, I would think, for Mary Washington, and naturally, obviously, Seth, the Knights really don't have a lot of room for error. When they go down on the offensive end, they're going to have to score.
Yeah, they need to shoot lights out if they want a shot at this game right here. Got to play perfect defense, too.
And Cronin's got it right now. Over to Jacob Williams. Shot clock at 15. Eagles really not in any hurry. They want to run clock as much as possible. Floating shot is up and no good, but a foul is going to be called. We'll see if Cale Thornton, no, it goes against Winslow. He's the one they nailed for the foul on Jacob Williams, and Williams will go to the foul line to shoot 2. That was Winslow's 3rd foul.
And they've started calling this game a little tighter now. I'm surprised, I guess you could say, that they called that, but thought there was contact while he was in the air.
17-point lead. And now 18. That's the biggest lead so far tonight, I believe, for Mary Washington. 18 points. They led by 8 at halftime. Knights working up court against pressure. Clock definitely a factor. Under 6 minutes to go now. Knights trail by 18 points. Anderson, top of the key. He'll miss that three. And the rebound comes away to Shaw. And it's Eagles basketball. And now they'll work the clock again. Outside to Cronin. Now Drew Johnson. And Shaw with the shot clock at 8. Spin move, no good. Rebound, Cronin. Missed it. Foul from behind on the follow attempt. And it looks like Winslow will pick up his 4th foul, I believe.
And just like that, we see 2 more offensive rebounds for Mary Washington. Just hasn't been the Knights' night, I guess. And
yeah, the turnovers were a problem in the first half, but as you mentioned, Seth, I think without question, one of the big categories has been the offensive rebounds that Mary Washington has had.
Yeah, I think the turnovers are something that they could have overcome in this game, but you can't overcome offensive rebounds because generally the offensive rebound comes while the player is in the paint and they get another look at a high percentage shot.
And Cronin makes the first foul shot. He can give Mary Washington a 20-point lead now. Earlier in the game, early in the first half, the Knights had a 9-2 lead. I think that was their biggest lead, 7 points. But the Eagles quickly took charge after that, led by 8 at halftime. And now they lead by 20, 77-57.
Right now it just becomes about just running your offense and doing the little things right. You can't focus on the score at this point. You just need to do the things you've been taught in practice, things you've worked on, and just try to get better.
Pass down low to Thornton. Thornton used the elbow to push off a little bit, got free for the shot, and picks up the contact, and he'll go to the foul line to shoot 2.
What's interesting here, Jim, is Thornton hadn't picked up another foul. He's only got 2, but Coach sat in favor of McCready for had to be at least 6 or 7 minutes, which is interesting because it felt like Cale Thornton was having a better offensive game.
Cale only played 5 minutes, I believe, in the first half. So when you look at the final box score, I don't know, what's he going to have, maybe 15 or so minutes, 15 or 20? Probably around the 15-minute mark for the game out of 40 minutes.
Right, and probably not enough. I understand that it goes in ebbs and flows, and you just got to see what the game dictates. But he's one of your better offensive players. Nice deep 3 by Colson Hardy there. That was almost NBA range.
Hardy with a big 3. He's got 5 points, I believe, so far tonight. And the Knights have cut that lead back to 16 now. It's 77-61 after the Eagles had built the lead to 20. And now the Eagles will try to run the clock a little bit more again here. Jump shot outside by the Eagles, no good. Rebound up and in by Drew Johnson. Another offensive rebound. 79-61, 18-point margin for Mary Washington. Prisby's pass is stolen away, and Prisby collides with Cronin, and I guess Prisby's going to pick up the foul call, a charge. That'll be his first. As Armstrong and Rumbaugh will check in here for the Knights. Replacing Winslow and Jaron Anderson. 4:12 to go, 79-61. Mary Washington on top by 18. Again, the Knights will be at home Saturday taking on Carolina Christian. That'll be a 3 o'clock start. We'll have that one for you. Reminder in the women's contest tonight, Mary Washington defeating Southern Virginia 64-51. But again, Seth, that was a lot closer all game long than the final score indicated.
Yeah, the score didn't reach that wide of a margin until the last minute and a half or so of the game. The women's basketball team here at Southern Virginia University played a really hard-fought game. Lot. You can see the improvements from where they were even a year ago.
Shaw jumping in with the outside jumper, couldn't hit it, but another offensive rebound for the Eagles. Ball knocked away and retrieved by the Eagles, so they continue to run a little clock here. This is Austin Hall dropping the pass off. And we're going to have a foul called before the shot was taken on the Knights. Cale Thornton, I believe. Or, let's see.
Yeah,
yep, Cale Thornton will pick it up. That'll be his third. And Austin Hall will go to the foul line. Interesting to see the final box score for the number of offensive rebounds. It's going to be probably over 15 or 16.
Oh, yeah, I would think that's the minimum that they're at right now. Mary Washington has just done a really good job of, and it's not, you got to give credit to Mary Washington. They've done a good job of boxing out and putting themselves in the right position. There's a certain amount of luck that goes into it, the ball bouncing your way, but can't take anything away from them. And you see
blocked on his reverse layup attempt. It may well be that half of their rebounds were offensive rebounds, maybe more than half, compared to the defensive rebounds Mary Washington's had. Here's Cronin against Thornton. Spin move, hook shot, no good. Rebound, Kale. Ahead to Prisby with 2:55 to go. Prisby all the way, and he's fouled. And if that's Kiori Stewart, I think that'll be his fourth. So 2:52 to go. Knights trail by 18 points. And Justin Prisby uncharacteristically missing that one as he missed way off to the right.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best night for Prisby. He's missed a couple close to the basket, but as we said, that's not the norm for him. I'm sure you'll see him get back on track as the Knights have another game coming this Saturday.
So the lead now 17 points with 2:48 to go. Looks like this is more or less in the win column for Mary Washington, barring a miraculous comeback by the Knights as the Eagles continue to run clock. Austin Hall's got it. Passes inside, missed shot, rebound, Kale Thornton. So, yep, there's 27 rebounds, the last report from Mary Washington. 14 of those were offensive rebounds and 13 defensive rebounds.
Yeah, and we still have, these stats are as of six minutes left in the second half, so it could be even bigger margin right now on the offensive rebounds. You see, they haven't, the Knights have their share of rebounds. It's only 27 to 22. The Knights have 17 defensive rebounds, but only 5 offensive.
Another interesting stat, we talked about the turnover situation, 15 at last report for the Knights, might be a few more by now, but Mary Washington, just a very few turnovers tonight.
Yeah, you see there, the 6 to the Knights 15, just hasn't gone their way tonight. Certainly have stuff they got to work on, and I'm sure Coach Caputo will be getting after them these next few days of practice.
And again, they've got 3 non-conference games coming up the next 3 Saturdays, so a chance to tune up on the non-conference schedule. They work on some things before they play that next conference game, but that's not until early January on the road. 79-63, Knights down by 16 as the Eagles continue to run clock. In fact, the Knights' next Capital Conference game will be against St. Mary's on Wednesday, January the 3rd. The next home conference game in the Capital Conference will be against York. Saturday, January the 6th, another offensive rebound for the Eagles. And they will run even more clock now. Hall giving it back to Cronin, who's stuck underneath the basket. Outside to Madison. He'll fire the jumper and miss. Another offensive rebound for Mary Washington with 1:28 to go. And a three-pointer made by the Eagles. 82-63, 19 points now with 1:15 to go. Thornton got free and scores. Thornton's in double figures. I think he's got at least 15 points tonight. There's a steal by the Knights. They come up court in a hurry. Armstrong back to Prisby, knocked away. And I believe we're going to have a foul called on Dylan Johnson of Mary Washington. So when you look at the numbers, Prisby, Rumbaugh, Thornton, and Anderson will all be, I believe, in double figures. Just too much Mary Washington offense forcing Knights turnovers, and of course those offensive rebounds for the Eagles.
And you see they've shot better. They have a better shooting percentage as of 6 minutes left in the second half. Mary Washington was just shooting 45% from the field while the Knights were shooting 53%. But it's those hidden numbers that really tells the story is those offensive rebounds. And then
yeah, thanks to those offensive rebounds, just look at the sheer number of shots taken. Mary Washington really dominating that category by a wide margin.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are going to grab the board, you don't have to particularly shoot well. I'm sure that's not what their coach has taught them, but it's worked out for them tonight.
So right now it's 82-67, with just 40 seconds to go. And an offensive foul is called on Mary Washington. Knights will have it with 38.9 on the clock, the game clock. 82-67, a 15-point lead right now for Mary Washington. Colson Hardy's who's got a couple of baskets. And a steal by Mary Washington. Another turnover for the Knights with 25 seconds to go. See if the Eagles just run out the clock now. Scoop shot, no good. Rebound by Anderson. Up court with 12 seconds to go. Jaron will take it all the way. Drops it off to Armstrong for a three. He got it. And that's going to be the final score. It's going to be 82-70. Mary Washington picking up the victory.
Yeah, after those first few minutes of the game, the first 5 to 10 minutes, the Knights, they were rolling. Everything was working for them. As soon as it felt like the turning point in the game was when Mary Washington started going full court press. It really kind of disrupted the Knights' offensive rhythm, and really they just never really recovered from it.
It really turned things around because we talked about at the very beginning of this ball game, the Knights had a 9-2 lead. They actually looked like they were the runs that were really going to perhaps have the lead at halftime. But as you mentioned, that press, that defensive press, and the offensive rebounds combined to really turn this game around in a hurry.
Yeah, you're not going to win many games when you get out rebounded on that end of the floor. So many second chance points for Mary Washington. And hats off to them because a lot of rebounding is effort. It's a kind of a direct correlation. They really hustled. They were smart, putting themselves in the right position to grab those boards, and the scoreboard reflected that.
And the Knights, credit the Knights, they never gave up. They kept trying to claw and come back in the second half, but the Eagles, again, with those offensive rebounds and making just enough in the way of the offensive zone, especially from the three-point range and the foul line, to stay ahead and actually go on for the 12-point victory, because at one point in this game they had a 20-point lead.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach will, it's tough when I think Cale Thornton is probably one of your best offensive weapons. He's certainly proved that at this point in the season. Coach really doesn't like to have him out there when he's got 2 fouls, and so when you pick up 2 fouls within the first 5 to 10 minutes, he puts him in a difficult spot. So I'm sure that's something that they'll talk about, because you got to have him on the floor, especially on nights like tonight where you're having trouble finding some points. You've got to be able to have a big man like Thornton in there.
So the Knights suffer their first home loss in capital play. They dropped to 1-3 in the conference, 4-4 overall. Mary Washington now 6-2 overall, but 2-1 in the conference. And again, now a 3-week layoff as far as conference games are concerned. Long way to go in the Capital Conference, but when you lose on your home court like this, it just means it's going to be a little bit tougher. And down the stretch, you're going to have to pick up some home wins, and you're also going to have to maybe pick up some road victories as well in January and February.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not, dead in the water right now. You always have an opportunity. There's a handful of teams that have already lost in Capital play. All you can do is you got to use these next non-conference games. You've got to use them to get better. You've got to use them to fine-tune all the things that you're struggling with as a team, and use it to come closer as a team. That's so important in sports. You've got to learn to trust each other and rely on each other. So it's going to be a real growth process over these next 3 weeks.
Got the final numbers. Again, as far as the rebounds were concerned, Mary Washington wins the rebound battle 35-28. 20 of those 35 rebounds were offensive rebounds. They only had 7 turnovers. The Knights had 18 turnovers. Knights led in scoring by Cale Thornton with 16. Aaron Rimbaugh, 14. Justin Prisby, 13. And also Jaron Anderson had 12. And as we talked about, a very balanced scoring attack for Mary Washington. They had 9 guys score tonight, and they were led in scoring by Mark Madison, had 3 3-pointers, and he had 17 points overall.
Yeah, it's so looking at the scoring for the Knights, the thing that stands out to me is Jaron Anderson with 12, but he had those 12 in the first half. It's something that I'm sure Coach wants to see him be aggressive with the ball, get his touches, because he can be that spark off the bench to help them. As you mentioned, too, with the rebounds, just preaching to the choir right now, that broken record, but 20 offensive rebounds is just never going to get it done for your team. So things to improve on. They did some good things tonight. There's a lot of positive going forward. I'm sure Coach still feels real good about his team. They've had a good start to the year. They just got to get back on track, and you got a good opportunity coming this Saturday.
So again, recapping, Mary Washington winning the men's game tonight, 82-70. They also win the women's contest in the first game by a final of 64-51. So make sure you join us on Saturday for men's basketball. Southern Virginia hosting Carolina Christian Saturday at 3 o'clock. Make sure you join us for Knights basketball coming up this Saturday from the Knight Sports Arena. That's going to wrap things up here from Southern Virginia University. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Seth Hansen, our director Craig Reese, and all of our fantastic production staff. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, tonight for Knights basketball. Have a great evening.